As I discussed with you earlier, that muscular tissue, it's the tissue which is responsible for movement of the body. Movement of the body is because of the muscular tissue. Muscular tissue are of three types. One we call as striated, one we call as unstriated, and third is cardiac. Let's discuss about the characteristic of striated muscle tissue. Why it is called as striated muscle tissue? Because there is the presence of alternate light and dark bands. There is the proper striation. You can see that there is the striation on the, where my cursor is showing, there is the striation. This is dark band, this is light band, this is dark, light, dark. So there is the proper striation. It is also known as skeletal muscle. They work according to our will. For example, these muscles which do cover the bones of our hand, right? They work under our will. They work under our will. So such type of muscles are known as skeletal muscles. Even they are known as voluntary muscles also. Now they are attached to our bones and help in the movement of the body. These muscles, first of all, there is the epithelial tissue, right? Stratified squamous epithelia. Then inside that there is the adipose tissue, and then there is the presence of striated muscles. It is because of these muscles we are able to move the parts of our body. Now, why we are able to move the parts of our body? Because they have a special type of protein which is called as contractile protein. It is because of the contractile protein we are able to contract and relax to bring the movement. You know, while doing this movement, one part has to relax and one part has to contract. Only then the movement will arise. These striated muscles are long, cylindrical and unbranched. They are long, cylindrical and unbranched, and they have multinucleus. Yani they are called as multi, like muscles of our limbs and jaws and everywhere. These are known as striated muscles. Now we are going to discuss about the unstriated muscle. Unstriated muscles are also known as non-voluntary muscles, involuntary muscles. Why? Because these muscles are not present in our, these muscles are not under our will. These muscles do not work under our will. For example, you have just taken the breakfast. You must have taken the breakfast. Then through the esophagus, it went into the stomach. Now it must be there in your stomach. Whether you want to digest the food or not to digest the food, the process of digestion is going to take place. At the same time, our kidneys are functioning because they are not direct under our will. Like if I want to move my hand, I will move. But if I do not want to move my hand, I won't move, because these striated muscles are voluntary muscles and they are present. They are working under our will. Whereas the unstriated muscles or involuntary muscles, they are not under our will. They are not working under our will. They work under the direct commandment from their brain, right? They are called as unstriated. As I've told you that there is no striation, there is no band formation, color band formation. The light and dark bands are not there, so they will be known as non-striated or unstriated muscles. These muscles are also called as smooth muscles because they are smooth in texture. They don't show any dark and light bands, right? So they are not under our will. Their structure is spindle shape. That means they have tapering ends. Their ends is totally tapered, which are closed ones, right? They are uninucleated. The cells of involuntary muscles, the cells of involuntary muscles or non-striated muscles is uninucleated. That means they are having a single nucleus. The movement of the food in alimentary canal or contraction or relaxation of the body blood vessels is all involuntary movement, and everywhere wherever the muscles are not under. I was asking about those muscles which are not under our will and they don't take the commandments from our will. Such muscles are known as involuntary muscles. Where are they located? They are located in the all the organs which are working involuntarily. That is, they are direct getting the commandments from our brain, from a particular portion of the brain. They are located in the iris, uterus, bronchi of lungs, alimentary canal, walls and blood vessels and so on. They are, as I've told you, there is no dark and light bands. They are fiber-like. They are present in the form of sheets. Now the third type of muscles, which is exclusively found in the heart, that muscle we called as cardiac muscle. They are short cylindrical fibers joined to end and interconnected by oblique bridges. I have told you they are interconnected. You can see where my cursor is pointing here. The muscles are interconnected, right? Cardiac muscles are also involuntary muscles. They are not under our control. They are also non-striated muscles because there is the absence of dark and light bands, right? They contain one or two nuclei. These muscles show the rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life, and that's why it's able to pump the blood. These muscles, that is cardiac muscles, are exclusively present in the heart, which has this property that they can contract and relax so as to create the pressure in the blood so that the blood will be transported to the different parts of our body. And location of these muscles is exclusively the walls of the heart. The walls of the heart are made from the muscles that is called as cardiac muscle. There is no, it is involuntary. There is no presence of dark and light. So there is no presence of striation. Okay, they contract and relax rhythmically throughout their body without any fatigue. They are found in the walls of heart and superior vena cava. This was all about that. This was all about the muscle tissue, muscular tissue, which is of three types: striated, unstriated, and cardiac muscle. They can also be called as voluntary. Striated can be called as voluntary. Then unstriated is involuntary, and this cardiac muscle is also involuntary. Last topic of the chapter we will discuss about is the nervous tissue. Let me tell you, the control and coordination process is done by the tissue which is known as nervous tissue. Okay, if you just, let me tell you that If I touch the hot object, if this is the hot object and I will just touch it, what I am going to do? I am going to immediately remove my hand. I am going to immediately remove my hand. That how this information has been passed. For example, if there is some how there is the prick on my hand, I will feel the pain. Now, who has given the message to the brain? It's through the nervous tissue that the message reaches to the brain. All the control and coordination in the organism is done by the tissue which is known as nervous tissue. Cells of the nervous tissue are also known as neurons and nerve cell. Okay, the cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the information very rapidly from one place to another. Brain, the spinal cord and nerve all are made up of the tissue which is known as nervous tissue. The structural and functional unit of nervous tissue is known as the neuron. The structural and functional unit of nervous tissue is known as neuron. Let us discuss about the structure of neuron. What does neuron look like? Although the image is there on your screen also, but even then I would like to draw the neuron. There are the tentacle-like structures which comes out from the body of the neuron. The longest one, if I tend to draw these, the tentacle-like structures, they are known as dendrites. These tentacle-like structures which are present, they are known as dendrites. Okay, these are short branch path. They are known as dendrite. It is the dendrite which is connected with the receptors. That is those who receive the information, who receive the stimuli. Dendrite pick up the information from the receptors, then pass it to the main, that's the cell body, the star-shaped body called cytosol, which has the nucleus as well as cytoplasma. It's having mitochondria, it's having endoplasmic reticulum, the cell body. This is also known as cytosol. Okay, then a single long dendrite, that's called as axon. A single long dendrite, that's called as axon. The dendrite pick up the information, pass it to the cytosol, then from the cytosol it passes to the dendrite, and from the dendrite, from the axon, okay, dendrites pick up the information, pass it to the cell body, the cytosol, then from the cell body it moves into the axon. Through the axon it travels to the end of the nerve cell, that is known as nerve ending. That is known as nerve ending. Right? Okay. So this was all about the nervous tissue, that they pick up the information from the receptor. The dendrite pick up the information from the receptor. Through the cell body, it travels through the axon, and from the axon it goes to the nerve ending, and again it will be picked up from the another dendrite. The information will be picked up by the another dendrite, then it will pass through, and ultimately it will reach to the brain. Brain will process that information and will take the right decision as per the information provided to the brain. So this was all about the topic. This was all about the chapter. So we have concluded the chapter tissues.